Pop the top, it's time for another video to drop, and today, bringing you guys episode 5 of the WWE 2014 series Monday Night Raw Week 3. We're only one more Raw off before we get to the Royal Rumble, but we still have this episode of Raw and 2 more episodes of SmackDown, along with another episode of Raw before we get to that Rumble. So let's go ahead and get on into things. We kick things off with Randy Orton and John Cena basically going back and forth in the middle of the ring with a little talky talk. Brad Maddox comes out though and says, enough of this, you two are going to face each other at the Royal Rumble. We've already determined this. A contract signing will take place next week on Monday Night Raw. However, tonight, John, you will be in action against the man that Randy picked for you to face a couple weeks ago until you decide to throw Randy in for a handicap match. That's right, you, John, will be facing Kane. They got an 83B+, good stuff, starting things off. We then go on to Dolph Ziggler taking on Wade Barrett, where Dolph Ziggler defeats Wade Barrett in 8 minutes with a zigzag, 69C+ rated, not bad. Ziggler's still not suited to his gimmick because I always forget to change it. That is very, very bad. After the match, though, Leo Kruger slides into the ring from behind and destroys Dolph Ziggler, just absolutely demolishes the man. And then after Ziggler's basically almost knocked out, he gets grabbed by his blonde locks, and Leo drags this man out of the ring, all the way up the ramp and into the back. Where is he taking him? We don't know. A 79B though. Good stuff out of Kruger and Ziggler. Rob Van Dam makes his return as we see him walking backstage, and we hear the announcer say that up next, RVD returns to action. We then have Rob Van Dam taking on Ryback, where Ryback picks up the win in 7 minutes and 53 seconds with a shell shock after interference from Curtis Axel. That got a 71C+. However, after the match, Ryback still tries to jump Rob Van Dam, but the Intercontinental Champion Big E Langston makes the save, leading to Brad Maddox coming out saying, well, we could have a tag team match, and that match is now. So now we have a tag team match between Ryback and Big E Langston and the returning Rob Van Dam, which Big E Langston, the Intercontinental Champion, and Rob Van Dam pick up the win when Big E Langston defeats Ryback with a big ending, and that got a 76B-. Good stuff. They showed excellent chemistry teaming together. Axel and Ryback did. Good stuff, good stuff. And after the match, Big E grabs the microphone and says, Ryback, if you want an Intercontinental title match so damn bad, next week on Monday Night Raw, I'm going to put up this title because I need to focus at the Royal Rumble on winning that Rumble match. But next week I could surely beat you for this title. And he lays down the title and says, come and get it. And then Ryback just nods his head and says, alright, I'll do that. A 68C+, not bad. We then go to the top of the hour, with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman coming down to the ring, and they basically go on a tangent, and then Brock finally says, Big Show, you want to match the Royal Rumble? You've got one. One-on-one, I'll greatly demolish you. And that's pretty much that segment. 88B+, not bad at all. We then go on to AJ Lee taking on Natalya, where AJ Lee beats Natalya with a sliced bread number 2, a 55C-, the best women's match we've had yet. So good stuff, good stuff. After the match, Brad Maddox comes out on stage while AJ Lee is celebrating with the Women's Championship in the middle of the ring. Brad says, AJ, while you do carry around the Women's Championship, you still are recognized, however, as the Divas Champion. But that title currently is being held hostage by Nikki Bella. So I've come up with an idea. At the Royal Rumble, we're going to have AJ Lee facing Nikki Bella. If AJ Lee wins, you become the Women's Champion. The Women's Champion replaces the Divas Championship. However, if Nikki Bella wins, she becomes the Divas Champion, and the Divas Championship stays intact. So it's up to you, AJ, at the Royal Rumble. And then after that, he walks out. So now we know that AJ Lee will be taking on Nikki Bella with big stakes for the women's division. 66C+ segment, not bad. CM Punk and Dean Ambrose then have basically just a hype video showing that they are going to be facing off tonight in a steel cage match. This is a really good episode so far, an 86B+, not bad at all. We then go on to the Real Americans facing the Lost Matadors, where the Real Americans basically just destroy them. Cesaro picking up the win after defeating Diego with a neutralizer, 68C+, just something to get the tag team number contenders some momentum. After that, Damien Sandow makes his entrance, calling everyone ignoramuses, and basically saying that regardless of who returns or who debuts at the Royal Rumble, he will be the man walking out the winner. It will be Sandow Mania. 72B-, not bad. He then takes on Kofi Kingston, where he does pick up the win with a Terminus 64C. Just something to help Sandow get a little momentum, as we like to say. After that, we go backstage to where Dolph Ziggler is tied up to a chair. He has a blindfold on, and Leo Kruger basically has him in a sleeper hold, and is just going and just laughing menacingly and just whispering, "Go to sleep, go to sleep. I'm going to get my trophy." And he just keeps squeezing, and finally we just see Dolph Ziggler go limp in the chair, and that's when the segment cuts off. 77B, not bad at all. Very happy with the way Leo Kruger and Dolph Ziggler have been doing in these segments. Very, very happy with that. We then go on to Evan Bourne taking on Tyson Kidd. Just something for Evan Bourne to get a little momentum back after losing to Leo Kruger. Corkscrew moonsault is the reason why Bourne wins, and it's got a 55 C-. Good stuff, good stuff. After that, we go to the top of the hour. The returning Batista comes out, and this is the first time Batista's been seen since 2010. So the first time in 4 years we've seen this man. And he comes out to the ring and basically announces that he is going to be competing in the Royal Rumble come 2 weeks from now. And that's when Alberto Del Rio's music hits. Del Rio comes down to the ring and says, "Listen, Pedro, it doesn't matter if you're in the Royal Rumble because I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. And you know what? To show you just how good I am, I challenge any of your friends to come to this ring and face me one-on-one right here, right now." And I got an 87B+. Good stuff. And Del Rio gets his wish as Rey Mysterio comes down to the ring. And Del Rio and Mysterio have a match, which Del Rio wins in 9 minutes 43 seconds with a submission with a cross arm breaker. And I got a 77B rated. Just something for Del Rio to keep that momentum going up. And it helps also with this little Batista promo. So that good stuff. Good stuff all around. We then go on to John Cena and Kane. It shows John Cena and Kane walking down backstage. Their match is up next. I got an 81B. John Cena ends up defeating Kane in 8 minutes and 17 seconds with an attitude adjustment. That got a 74B-. The match suffered from a lack of psychology. I mean, that's fair, I suppose. Cena had an injury performance of 90, Kane 77. This does help out the lawsuit and corporate champion storyline with Cena and Orton. A 74B-, though, not bad. We then go on to after the match, Randy Orton slides into the ring and drops John Cena with an RKO. But followed by Orton just posing with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and finally goes, "You may think you can beat me, John, but I've beaten you once already. That's the reason why I'm the champion. It doesn't matter if there's no stipulation on that match. I will still walk out champion." And that got an 85B+. Good stuff all around. We then go on to a promo backstage where CM Punk basically just goes in on Dean Ambrose and says that right now it's time for the steel cage match. It's time for him to walk out the United States champion, and it's time for him to show just why exactly he is the best in the world. And I got a 76B-, not bad at all. We then head to our main event. The U.S. Championship is on the line. It is a steel cage match. CM Punk taking on Dean Ambrose, and Dean Ambrose, during the match, looks like he's almost out. Punk hits a go to sleep. Punk starts climbing up the cage. All of a sudden, Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima Delta, Shield. Rollins hits the ring. Well, not the ring, but the ringside area. Climbs up the cage. Boom! Punches Punk from the top of the cage. Punk falls back down into the ring. Roman now is climbing up the other side of the cage. And Punk, distracted with Rollins, throws after Rollins, trying to get Rollins down. But Roman Reigns slides into the cage from over the top. Spears CM Punk. And after the spear, he grabs Ambrose, shakes Ambrose, pulls Ambrose up, and helps Ambrose get out of the door, letting Dean Ambrose retain the United States Championship. So Dean Ambrose does defeat CM Punk with an 81B rated match. That did great. And Ambrose does make his first defense of the U.S. title on the save. Punk had an in-ring performance of 94, Ambrose 78. They have great chemistry and it showed in their performance. That's good to know for future reference. Very good to know for future reference. So Dean Ambrose is still our U.S. champion. After the match, however, after the Shield clears the ring, the Wyatt intro hits, and on the outside of the cage, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, Daniel Bryan, and Bray Wyatt are all standing. Bray just laughs menacingly as CM Punk is laid out in the middle of the ring, surrounded by the cage. Bray smacks Bryan on the back. It says, "Follow." And he grabs Bryan by his jumpsuit and pulls the man. Both of them get inside the cage. That's when Luke Harper locks the cage with the padlock. So now Bray Wyatt and Daniel are standing in the middle of the ring. CM Punk laid out in the middle of the ring. The cage surrounding them. Bray finally drops to his knees and says, "Daniel, your test is finally upon us. Beat down your former friend. Follow the buzzards. But right before he could say buzzards, Bryan swings his leg around as hard as he can, kicks Bray Wyatt straight to the back of the head, drops Bray Wyatt down. He takes off the jumpsuit, revealing his actual gear underneath. He basically walks over to Punk, shakes Punk a little bit. Punk starts stirring back up. He starts trying to rise to his feet. Bryan then goes back over to Bray, starts beating the ever-living hell out of Bray Wyatt, just kicking the man, kicking him. The crowd is flipping out. They're chanting yes. They're doing the motion in the back row. Bryan just absolutely destroying Bray Wyatt. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan finally get the door when they slide into the ring. Bryan and Punk go after Harper and Rowan before they can get in the cage. They basically lock Harper and Rowan out of the cage. Punk does, after slamming the door shut and locking it, leaving Bryan basically all to Bray Wyatt. And that's when the big knee hits. Bryan drops Bray Wyatt, and right after the big knee, Punk claps and lets the moment for Bryan as Bryan climbs into the cage, sits on top of the cage, and is doing the yes chant with the crowd as we end Monday Night Raw. Daniel Bryan is no longer a part of the Wyatt family. And that ended Monday Night Raw with a 73 B-. Great ending. 82B. Best show we've done so far. Increased our popularity in 19 regions. That's what I'm talking about. See, like I said on the last episode, we're finally getting on that rate where we're actually getting good shows. I knew it'd take a couple episodes, but we're finally getting some good ratings now. So that's what I'm talking about. And nonetheless, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, leave a like. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. And above all else, take it easy, guys.